Smugglers Cove.
Count us in.
3, 2, 1.
Aliens and Earthlings. I'm Kutzky, the space pimp.
And I'm Tallboy the Tony. Shit. Tallboy Tony. Shit.
3, 2, 1. I'm Kutzky, the space pimp.
And I'm Tony the Tall. Fuck me.
3, 2, 1. Aliens and Earthlings. I'm Kutzky, the space pimp.
And I'm Tony Tallboy. Welcome back to another episode of Smugglers Cove.
On tonight's episode, we will be tackling yes or no questions from our 257 juicy question list.
By Logan Haley.
Logan Haley. We will get into that, but
First things first.
first things first.
First things first.
Tonight I am smoking on a cigar from Keating's Tobacco here in town. I basically scoured all the cheap cigars and found this one called Bravo. It is a Nicaraguan. I think my favorite cigar is actually Nicaraguan. CAO. It's very dark. This one's on the darker side, so I'll let you know how it goes. So far, so good, I'd say. She's alright.
There you go.
Yeah. Now, before we get into these questions,
Now we gotta do the cards.
tradition is tradition.
Absolutely.
I love tradition. So, pulling once again from Dr. Liverpool's Animal Spirit Guides cards is Kutzky the Space Pimp. shuffling and pulling. So, give these a shuffle, wait for one to fall out. Yeah. What we have last week?
Zebra.
Zebra, eh?
Yeah, zebra and condor.
Condor.
I can't remember what the condor was supposed to mean though.
Unprotected sex.
Right.
Wait,
Right.
no, it's a different word. Different bird. Yeah. It was something about easing off the gas. Kind of like, if you know, you may think you're right, but pump the brakes.
Right.
We got talking about
Yeah, the
your
issues
little
there.
ones. And my, yeah,
Yeah.
double trouble. Double trouble in paradise.
Yeah.
Zebra was individuality. That's what we remember.
I think zebra was also looking to get help from people somehow. I don't know. We'll find out in a second here.
Yeah, one of them did mention that, eh? Go get some help from some people.
Yeah, but wasn't that the meerkat?
Yeah, that was the meerkat, eh?
Meerkat, yeah.
Yeah, because we did get help from some people at a seminar.
We did. That's a good point.
Yeah. Anybody watch the unboxing video?
Did ya?
You
We
should.
talked about food for 25 minutes.
Yeah. Heard about my pancakes and bacon?
My East Coast burger.
Yeah. We even mentioned the boiled grilled eggplant.
We sure fucking did, buddy.
That thing's never gonna die. Well, we tried the mics. Huh. Cardinal. I
Wow.
love me a cardinal.
There you go.
That's my grandma. I see that. Yeah. Let me get into this. Cardinal, the polarities of your spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures are out of balance, so do whatever is necessary to bring them back into equilibrium. Tell me about it.
Should you read that again?
The polarities of your spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures are out of balance, so do whatever is necessary to bring them back into equilibrium.
Yeah, no. I think a little bit of that for me yesterday was meditating for the first time in a while.
Mm-hmm.
That felt so good. And I only set the timer for like 5 minutes. And before, like, when I first started meditating,
Yeah.
5 minutes was like, oh no, you know, like, just because I was having that much trouble slowing down my mind.
Yeah.
And then I did 5 minutes yesterday, and I was like, alright, so next time I'm bumping it up to 10. Like, that was nothing. Well, nothing but good. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
like, it wasn't at all the trial that it was before.
No, 5 minutes didn't seem to me like even enough to get going. But 5 minutes is better than no minutes.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Cardinal says, when on the spiritual path, it's easy to idolize what being spiritual means. Idealize, not idolize. It's easy to idealize. It can become a rigid mental imprint on which you judge anything that varies from your conceptualization of what being spiritual is supposed to be about. This includes not only another person's practices and beliefs, but your own. Falling short of this idealism leads to either assuming a righteous and arrogant position with others, or, when self-imposed, elicits guilt and shame. The spiritual perfectionism can make you reticent about enjoying the pleasures of the material world, as well as those of your physical body. The earth herself provides a dazzling and sensual panorama of experiences to be directly encountered through the physical senses. Yet for many, truly enjoying the pleasures of the senses of sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell can be fraught with worry, anxiety, guilt, and shame, products of early childhood religious and or cultural conditioning. Yet for many, truly enjoying the pleasures of the senses of sight, sound, taste, touch, and smell can be fraught with worry, anxiety, guilt, and shame, products of early childhood religious and or cultural conditioning. Others become so entangled in the world of senses that it becomes their God and their spiritual core. What the fuck? Others become so entangled in the world of the senses that it becomes their God, and their spiritual core is lost to materiality?
Really, I just read that as either addiction or greed.
No, I know, but the materiality on this. Materialism?
Materiality. Yeah, but I mean, people also spell magic with a K, so.
Well,
when it comes to stuff like this.
At least magic with a K is still magic. Materiality, materialism.
Yeah.
Materialismness. Materialityness.
Yeah.
Materialitication.
I mean, I wouldn't say it, but
yeah,
I'll read it. And I mean, Dr. Liverpool's got more things on his mind than every single word that he uses.
That's fair. To be polarized in one direction or another takes you either to a lofty height or iridescent abstractions that are completely ungrounded, or else cause you to become caught up in the glue of the mundane world without the guiding light of spirit to provide a locus of authority. With the blessing of your awareness, he could fucking just word this in a better way. The locus, yeah. The locus, you don't know about the locus of your authority? No? Me fucking neither. With this blessing of your awareness, you can redirect your thoughts and actions towards that which brings greater balance and fluidity between the two polarities. Associations, courtship, singing, vitality, self-defense, integration, balance, spirituality, fatherhood, harmony, self-expression, confidence, listening, intuition, creativity, responsibility, colorfulness. Well, speaks to me on the level that I get torn about whether I should enjoy drinking milkshakes when I know that I gave up milkshakes long ago, or if I should just indulge them temporarily and then get off them again. For me, diet's been really fucking with my brain on stuff. Just I used to not eat so many things, and I've definitely just fucking let a lot of that go to a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's bugging me, because part of me thinks you just shouldn't do that, dumbass. Like, don't fucking do it. And I know that I don't have to do it. And then the other part of me is like, you know, you might learn something from just cutting loose a little bit and enjoying what you enjoy in a more balanced fashion.
Well, that's the thing, is moderation, right? Like, if you're having a milkshake a week, then I'd say maybe... Well, are you talking about milkshakes you buy or milkshakes you make?
Well, just the principle that I didn't used to do this, and now I'm doing it. I am not doing it like every day or like with a regular interval. Like,
well, because I was going to say, if you're talking about the milkshakes that you make here, then those I'd say are pretty, like, sorbet. There's water in it, and it can't be that bad.
I know that one, but...
Yeah, so as long, I don't know, like every 2 weeks, if you have a milkshake from Burger King, shout out Burger King, I guess. like, if you have a milkshake from somewhere, like, I wouldn't, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like you're not really going off the rails.
But I come from a standpoint where it's like, if you don't need to do something, you don't need to do something. Like, it's not more complicated than that. And there's a lot of things in my life that I've just completely let go and don't do anymore and don't give a fuck about. And it's like, they're kind of like a badge of growing, you know? It's like, yes, I used to do that. I don't anymore, because there's just simply no good that really comes of it. The milkshake, I mean, it tastes good at the time. This is where the milkshake is brought up, because it's harmless in comparison to some of the other habits that I've quit. It then gets this, like, kind of this confusing gray area where I think ultimately if I was more grounded, I wouldn't be fucking having these milkshakes, and I would just not even be having this discussion about milkshakes.
I feel like you need to just forgive yourself and have a milkshake once in a while and chill the fuck out, dude. Like, a milkshake is not going to kill you. And if it's just like this small treat, I really don't think... Like, if it became a problem in your life, but you're obviously not at that point, so just enjoy your milkshake, because, like, that one was talking about enjoying the senses.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything, like, obviously your metabolism isn't going to hate you for it, you know, just enjoy the milkshake, is what I would say. You know, don't overindulge, but you eat so healthy otherwise that I think, honestly, it's good to give yourself that little bit of a treat.
Yeah, I suppose, but I do still lean on the principle that when your life's grounded, you don't really have any type of desires that make you question it. Like, it's almost like the milkshake in this situation is irrelevant. It's, why am I having this internal debate over a fucking milkshake? Like, I don't want to be internally debating anything. I just want to be... Shoo.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I find even if I stay away from, you know, I do pretty well at staying away from sweets, but if I see, like I told you about those little molded chocolates at work, they are dark chocolate, by the way, those little molded chocolates at work, I'll pop one. Like, I'll be like, you know what, like, half a gram of dark chocolate today, yeah, no, I'm doing really well. Otherwise, like,
yeah,
I'm gonna do that, because I like it because it's not this. It's a little treat for like 30 seconds, and it's like, oh, that felt good, and then I can go about my day and like kind of like ride the, you know, like for me it's kind of like the guilt negative train. Like, I go through my day and I've indulged in a way that I do not feel guilty about at all. Like, if I go back for a third chocolate, then I might be like, ooh, not doing well. But like, I've had one chocolate in a day, like, again, 0.5 grams of dark chocolate. Yeah. I am not going to sweat about that. That's not going to be in my journal entry when I go home.
No, fair. But I still think there's a bar. Like, as you keep pushing the bar further and further of progress and evolution, it's like these things are not even present. I guess I'm still going back to my conversation that I just said of, like, if I'm having the internal debate, that means something's off in the bigger picture.
Okay.
So, like, the milkshake is just a extension of something that's actually unbalanced. Because if it was balanced, I wouldn't be even bothering to, have a debate about a milkshake. Like, there's really no debate, of course. If you want to have a fucking milkshake, have a fucking milkshake. Don't drink them breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but here I am just debating these fucking milkshakes. And it's like...
I think it's a case of, again, like, you just being too hard on yourself. This is my vote. Like, yeah, I think I've already said my piece about it.
Yeah.
You just need to chill out and have a milkshake once in a while, man. Like, if I feel like you're going off the rails, then I'll be like, Caleb, whoa.
You're slipping, I guess.
Whoa, Caleb, let's play some crib. Calm down. You don't need the milkshake. Like, I fucking gotta get the milkshake today. Like, it's not how that's gonna go.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. It's not an addiction. I guess it's just the concern of what's ungrounded in my life. So, I guess there's a number of things, and if you guys want to be here for 4 hours, I'll tell you all my troubles, but until then,
yeah. Until a special unboxing of Caleb's troubles. Another episode, special rendition.
Depression rendition.
Oh, jeez. You get 4 hours, I think I don't even know. Just keep the camera rolling. Like, Tony, are you done yet? Caleb, no. And that also makes me depressed.
What is this 48-hour live stream at Smugglers Cove? Jesus.
I think eventually I'll just end up in my underwear just chain smoking cigarettes. Just like, and here's another thing that makes Tony sad.
It get dark. We can get dark.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it back to the light.
Yeah, let's answer some questions here. What does Logan Haley have in store for us today, dear Kutzky?
He has these yes or no questions. The blurb here says, for a quick introduction to someone, yes or no questions are low pressure and leave room for elaboration. These are also quick fire ways to get you to know someone quickly. Jesus Christ. These are also quick fire ways to get to quickly know someone quickly.
No,
I know
okay.
what I did. I just don't like the two quicks. These are quick fire ways to get to know someone quickly.
No, you're right. He's wrong in that one.
That's just a poor writing.
That absolutely is. These are quick fire ways to get to know someone. Or these are surefire.
He could have just used rapid. Does he not know a thesaurus? Sure, this guy's no stranger to fucking thesauruses and online rhyming schemes. Anyways, want to have fun? Answer at the same time and see if your answers match.
Isn't that kind of what we do?
We usually, I answer, you answer, or you
But at the same time, like, what is that going to call? Okay,
as
so
soon as I finish the question, it's like, yes!
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing is like, how are you going to do this at a party? Like, you're going to just pull out a list and like have a room chanting? Like, so who said no? Who said yes? Like, line up, get in groups.
Yeah.
Like, you journal keepers, get together.
I do keep forgetting that these questions are geared to the partly autistic, eh? These questions are...
I'd say they probably have a touch of autism.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to answer at the same time. I'll ask and you answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Number 38, Tony. Have you ever kept a journal?
I was keeping my journal for... yes, I have. But I was actually keeping a journal very consistently for a while. I dropped off, but then the last couple days, I didn't do it today because I slept all day, but last couple days I actually journaled a couple times. What about you?
I kind of do. I more so would call it a notebook. I never really like I never really chronicle the day. The once in a blue moon maybe, but that's just being an asshole. Like, no, I never really write. Do you write down like March 28th, 2000 blank? And then
I write down the day of the month and the time.
Okay.
But then, so when I was living in Charlottetown, I would write down all the experiences of my day. Like, I would literally, like, I went true psychopath and wrote down everything that happened and every thought I had. And I had those, those little, I don't want to call them binders, but you know what I mean, workbook that you were like, oh, nice, weird workbook.
Hilroy Scribblers?
Yeah. I just had those. It was like fucking 7 in my room. Just like, there's no rhyme or reason to this. That's my Morgan Freeman, by the way. But like, he was just not like I was spending like 3 hours once I got home from work chronicling everything. So what I started to do was with this journal, just write down my thoughts, and if an important thing happened in my day, I would write that down. But just putting down thoughts, like stuff that was really on my heart, because chances are, like, you know, that's what I need to write down. I don't need to write down that I found a penny, or, you know, like there are some things that probably I could, but
Yeah.
really journaling, what it does for me is it helps me write down, or helps me express things that are really digging into my brain. And so it kind of helps me to be like, "Bakaka!" Like, get out of here, you thought, or help me deal with it. And because it's kind of like when I'm talking with you about the philosophy questions or whatnot, and like I have to say it out loud to kind of work through my thoughts. So I kind of play devil's advocate against myself, right?
Yeah.
Journaling kind of helps me do that, where it's also a way for me to think, like, when I put something down on the page, it's like, is this really what I want to write down? Like, is this how I want to think about a situation? You know what I mean? Kind of holding myself accountable instead of just letting all the dark thoughts, like, fester and squirm inside my head meat.
Well, because you brought up a super good point. For one, journaling is really helpful at figuring out your own thoughts, just sitting there writing them out, and super good mental exercise. If I'm going to do that, though, oddly, I never keep that in a journal. If I'm sitting down to just, like, I know I'm feeling this feeling and I think this is what I think about it.
Yeah.
If I sit down to write that, always just on a blank piece of paper.
Yeah, I've seen your notes. You kind of have them around.
Yeah. I'll do that on a blank piece of paper, but if I'm writing in my notebook, it's summarized thoughts. And sometimes I've gone back and read through my notebooks, and I'm like, what the fuck am I even talking about? Because it's, you know, this little sentence that encapsulates this whole big idea, but I was in some zone thinking of it, and then it's like, I just left like a checkpoint for myself. So I sit there and think long enough about what the fuck I meant, then I can remember what the hell I was doing. But if I'm going to do the flesh out version, it's just pages and pages.
Yeah.
Do you usually write pretty quick?
It's really hard for me to say. I think it depends on the journal entry.
Yeah.
Some I think are a bit more like I want to really, like I'm really working through. I'd say 4 pages might take me 45 minutes. I don't know. I really don't know. Because I
guess I was asking to clarify where I was coming from. I was asking, when you flesh out an idea, does that just go out quick?
Oh, typically I'm writing like as I think, and it's kind of like, okay, this is, it's not like I sit there like, tonk, 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 like, Tony, what's such your inner feeling? Like, usually that's, like, it's kind of going through, my thoughts are going through a refining process as I'm putting them out, especially now that I'm really challenging those dark thoughts in my head, and I'll be like, no, that's garbage, so how should I be thinking about this? Like, thank you, Lord, for guiding me. Like, do it. Oh!
Yeah,
there's a lot of thank you gods in my journal for bad days.
Yeah. Thank him. I think we did a good job of that.
Yeah.
Number 39. Do you have a best friend?
I'll never have a best friend.
Alright.
Yes, I have a best friend.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Well, a couple, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say I have a variety. Like, I've got... well, like... Because that's the thing is, I find with my friend groups are stretched over so many different areas. Like, I've found throughout my whole life is that I've kind of, like... My friend groups might not meet, but I kind of just, like, go from one to the other to the other to the other.
Yeah.
Right? So... I have several best friends. Like, I've got Matt, I've got Pratik, I've got Travis, I've got Dennis, I've got you. Anton is another one.
Yeah.
Привет, друг. On my brat. But yeah. I definitely have best friends. Like, and obviously my best friends serve different capacities. Not serve like, you do this for me, but, like, you know, there are different aspects of my soul that I can relate to each person, you know, differently.
Yeah,
like
I'm kind of that way too. If I took all my best friends and tried to make them hang out, it wouldn't blow up, but
I don't know about that Tony guy.
it would make more sense it just makes more sense hanging out with them one-on-one, you know. And
I'm more of a one-on-one kind of guy anyway.
Yeah.
Like, unless I'm at a party and for some reason someone has given me the stage and I can, like, let my anxiety fuel my comedic timing. Like, I can have people laughing, or I can just be like, this is really awkward, and then run to the bathroom. Bathrooms are my safe space. Like,
have you literally done that?
Gone to the bathroom when I don't want to be around people?
Yeah.
Oh, all the time. Like, all the time. Like, yeah. No. It's, well, for me too, it's just like, I find in more recently, like, when I just like, no, I need quiet, I need to be by myself. It's a good spot, because then if anyone asks you what you're doing, they're an asshole.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, it's better than going in. I've thought about it, like, at work, instead of going to the washroom, I'll just, like, go downstairs and meditate, but then I can only imagine, like, someone coming downstairs and seeing me meditating, and then it's kind of like when they see you reading a book. What you doing? What am I'm crossing my legs and have my hands on my knees. What do you think I'm doing? But you know what? I might start doing that anyway. Just rock the room.
I'm trying to imagine a scenario like, there's parties that I've left just because I've been in my own head about stuff and wanted to be alone, but I've never. To me, the bathroom, I guess, would not be enough of a reprieve.
Okay, I don't mean that, like, okay, typically if I'm at a bathroom at a party, it's because, like, I'm using the washroom if there's no tree available. So, like, party isn't the right word, I guess.
Well, I mean, paint the scenario, because you're hanging out with a group of friends and you flee to the bathroom.
I don't know. I just think, honestly, bathrooms are where I go when I want to be, like, just kind of like a moment to myself.
I mean, at work it makes sense, I would say.
Well, at work also, because of the job that I have, it's kind of like, oh, I can go now, I'll go now. Also, my situation is usually like there's always something for me to do when I go down there. It's not just me, like, going down for the pure sake of reprieve.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, kind of is, if you know what I mean. But, like, you know, people are like, Tony, are you just playing on your phone in there? Like, I'm multitasking, alright? Like, listen.
I've got a system.
I do.
I trust it.
One of it's a digestive system.
As I was just thinking to myself, am I too sheltered that I haven't had an experience recently where I've felt the need to take reprieve? But
at parties, when I would go to the bathroom, like, if it was, like, for a reprieve, it's because I got too fucked up. Like, if I got too high on weed, I would be, like,
focusing more on the, like, anxiety reprieve. Like, I need to be not around these people.
Weed usually gave me mad anxiety, and I'd have to go pace around the bathroom and pray to God to not kill me, and to forgive me for my sins.
I don't know what I do is much healthier. I just sit there and just fucking implode internally and, you know, keep a straight face, which my safe space is my fucking thoughts. I don't know.
That's sometimes my thoughts are my least safe space. This is becoming, like, our darkest episode. Like, we are delving. Like, this is a surefire way to meet people quickly. Do you want to know where I go when it's dark in my head? Like, to the bathroom. I love how this also came out of, do you have a best friend?
Yeah. Your best friend's the bathroom, mine's my thoughts.
Alright, so I think we've answered this question.
Yeah, alright. Let's see how dark we can make the next one. Number 40. Do you pay attention to the news? No.
I do.
Yeah.
Not, like, religiously. I used to make sure to keep up on every Ben Shapiro episode, but that just became, like... So he has episodes of his podcast that are, like, almost, I think his are like an hour.
Yeah.
But he talks super fast.
Yeah.
Also, he has, like, fucking 5-minute ads. Like, I know that Ben Shapiro's a capitalist, but holy shit, man. But I had to stop because that was just too much time in my day, and I just end up getting angrier. So if an issue comes up and I'm like, I want to know what Ben Shapiro talks about this, then he has clips. Like he cuts his episodes up into clips.
True.
I typically get my news from Philip DeFranco.
Mm-hmm.
That way, I'm kind of also balancing out my news because Philip DeFranco's left wing and Ben Shapiro is right wing.
Yeah.
And I find that they are both news sources that are doing they both believe they are right and are doing what they believe is right. Mm-hmm. Ben Shapiro obviously has a right wing skew, and Philip DeFranco has a left-wing skew. Yeah. So when there's an issue that I'm really confused about, I watch both of them and see the inconsistencies in both of them, because sometimes I'll be like, all right, Ben, that was pretty shifty. But then I'll turn around and I'll be like, come on, Phil. Like, you did that on purpose, buddy. That's not fair to the news. But I watch Philip DeFranco. I find is much more easily digestible because his shows are like 22. Well, it can be anywhere from like a 15-minute episode to like a 25-minute episode.
I'd say typically the left are a little lighter.
And that's the thing, is he also covers lighter news, whereas Ben Shapiro is like, well, he's Orthodox Jew, right? So like he comes at it with a really heavy
if we don't do this now, we're all gonna die.
Well, he's basically like, we are losing the nation, and Philip DeFranco kind of does the same thing, but he also doesn't have an hour-long episode.
Yeah.
And it's not that I necessarily disagree with Ben Shapiro. At the same time, it's like it either depresses me or makes me really angry, or both.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that I agree with everything that he says, but I find that
I've heard some funny bits from him.
Well, he's also funny as hell. Like, there's a reason he's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but anyway, he's really quick-witted. I do like Ben Shapiro. I find he can be a bit mean for no reason. Like he also gets not a bit mean. He gets a bit childish.
Yeah.
And like grasping at straws for picking at people. But at the same time, his editors are on point. Like his videos, when they edit them, his editors are on fucking point. They're balling. Just make hilarious edits. And Ben Shapiro himself has some very funny quips. But I watch Philip DeFranco about every day because I come home from work. I'll put on a video and I'll do my little workout, and then I can finish up my video while I'm in the shower and
Yeah.
So I watched the news, and I was gonna say I did most of the talking, but also I answered yes and you answered no.
Yeah, well, I think I stopped watching any type of news probably in high school, and then I really took a stance against it probably 21. I'm just not gonna delve into this shit. And it seems that every time I hear something from somebody that was on the news, it's typically just depressing, and to me it's almost like this willful oblivious.
I don't like watching any syndicated news network. I stay away from
there's that. I guess just
CNN and
I say
Fox
hearing
News.
it. I hear it either from articles or sometimes syndicated, but to me it's not really the height of knowledge, and it's not, I would say, the healthiest feeding trough.
I like to be aware of what's going on, but I really want unbiased news. I just want what happened, and I know that it's hard to get unbiased news because people have their own spin on what happened, but it's just kind of tell me literally what happened. I want to know that.
My stance is usually I can't really do shit about this, so I'm not gonna spend a second thinking about it. There's obviously things that I hear inevitably, like wars and this bad thing or this bad thing, and
Reddit's not too bad to get some news too.
Is it really?
Yeah, because people have posted about it. Immediately there are memes.
Okay. Yeah.
Which kind of if it doesn't, it's kind of okay, I didn't read an article, but when I found out, when you go on Reddit the night after, was it last year's Oscars? Whenever Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, and you go on Reddit and you're like, oh, yeah, oh, that happened. And then of course I watched Philip DeFranco about it, and I was like, oh, all right. And of course the internet turned on Will Smith, which I don't think that was necessarily a wrong thing to do. At the same time, Jada Pinkett Smith is a fucking monster.
I've seen that weird
Yeah.
round table shit, whatever, where she's talking about having an affair. I saw some clips. I saw a wonderful clip where somebody overdubbed Will's thoughts, and it was fucking beautiful.
Yeah, that poor man. She's done terrible things to him. I don't think that's... I feel really bad for Will Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I victim blame a lot. It's like, you could leave, you know? You could not.
Yeah, especially for like a Hollywood relationship. Like, he must truly love her. Or he, like that just, it breaks my heart.
Something to that effect, eh? Because it's not like, oh, it's my livelihood.
Like Will Smith is definitely not counting on her winnings. Like, I don't even know. Does she even act? I don't know what she does other than sleep around on Will Smith and be a huge bitch.
Let's have a look here.
Sure.
I know she dated Tupac.
Really?
Yeah, that's
wow.
what I know from her.
Who's Tupac? Oh, right, yeah.
Jesus.
No, I remembered. Real quick.
New segment.
He's dead, boy. Yeah, no, Tupac got shot.
Hey.
People think Biggie might have done it. Well, or at least ordered it.
Something around that, yeah. Oh,
she's an actress?
Siblings. Caleb. Or Caleb.
Caleb. Pinkett.
Where do you see she's an actress?
Literally right at the top.
Right
about.
And a talk show host.
Huh.
Co-host of the Facebook Watch talk show Red Table Talk. That was the one where it was cringe as hell.
She's got the alopecia.
I don't know what that is.
Her hair falls out. That's why she's bald. I think.
You just pulling this shit out of thin air?
No, I'm pretty sure she's got alopecia.
Alright.
She's not just pulling like some zany, I think.
She was diagnosed with alopecia. There you go, Tony.
Tony knows some things. Not if Tupac is dead or alive, but...
Not if John Lennon is dead or alive.
Yeah, no, Tupac I had to figure out who he was, but
yeah,
I got it now.
Got that one quick. Yeah, I do watch, for news though, I pay attention to skateboarding news like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Dedicate that.
I need to find something, whether it be a hobby or something that I actually... Oh, pardon me. Pay attention to.
Mm-hmm. I do kind of wish there was a better, I shouldn't even say this because I haven't looked into it, but finding a good music news that would tell me when things come out, you know, like new bands and shit, that'd be convenient. So I'll go on a search for that. But yeah, there's Skateline MBD. This guy does this every Tuesday. He just recaps the week of what was released for video parts. It's not completely comprehensive because obviously so much footage comes out in a week, but he hits the big ones, and he's usually kind of satirical, so there's that.
Okay.
Yeah,
sounds cool.
I do pay attention to that news, and I'll read. I get Thrasher there, so I actually read my Thrasher 2 nights ago. Just sat down, read the whole thing front to cover. It's been a long time since I did that.
Oh, neat! I've got a magazine stashed at work for when I don't bring my book downstairs to go to the bathroom.
What's a magazine?
A magazine? A magazine is like
What is the magazine?
Oh, it's medieval warfare.
What is Word?
What is thing? Right after you said you finished the magazine, I was like, why is he asking me this? But no, it's a medieval warfare magazine I picked up like years ago that actually looks really cool, and I stashed it somewhere, but I don't think anyone's going to read it anyway. I was going to tell my coworkers about it, but no one spends as much time in there as I do, and...
Leave lying dogs lie, I suppose.
Well, I doubt anyone in my workplace is going to be like, well, Tony did bring in that medieval warfare magazine. I think I'll crack that open. Like,
at first I thought it was the name of a video game.
Well, Dimitri might. He might actually take an interest in that. He's a smart guy like that.
Yeah, he could be interested.
Yeah. He does a lot of reading. He's a really smart dude.
Number 41. Have you ever gotten a speeding ticket?
I have not. My answer to that is no.
4. I've got a really funny story. I feel like I might have told you this, but it's funny for the viewers.
There we go.
One of the speeding tickets I got... Let me see. We were coming back from Miramichi. I was driving my friend's band down to play a gig there. It was Fredericton. Either way, we're on the highway. We're on the wrong highway. So I pull a U-ey, and then I get into the right lane. Mm-hmm. They were all pretty hammered, you know.
Well, they're a band.
Yeah. And so, anyways, we see some flashing lights behind us. Of course, stop. Whatever. The cop's like, look, I give you a ticket for a U-turn on the highway or speeding, because he'd been following us, I guess, for a little bit. Didn't see him at all. Anyways, he gave me a speeding ticket. I think it was cheaper. So we, whatever, that's that. We keep driving. This is just another funny tidbit to the story. We're driving the car, and he also didn't sweat as much because my friends were puking out the side of the van. And when we stopped, there was just puke all down the side of the van because they, you know, just wind and whatever.
Well, yeah, the wind takes it, yeah.
So we're driving, and it starts stinking god-awful in the van. We're like,
I would ask this at a party, not to interject, but I'm just thinking, like, you walk into a party, you want to get someone, so, what are your criminal activities?
I think it's kind of fun, because speeding ticket's relatively harmless, unless you have some dark-ass story where you killed somebody.
Yeah, I suppose you're not really using this as a posh party.
Yeah,
no one's wearing a cummerbund.
Who's got molested? What? Alright. We're going to move the party into the dining room. George, you stay here.
Yeah.
Anyways, so starts stinking in the van, and then we hear this sort of like bubbling sound. And I don't know if you know what a volcano is. You remember those? There's a way to smoke weed. It was like some sort of, I'm going to use the wrong word. It's not a dehumidifier, but yeah, there's some sort of heat to it that...
It's basically like the healthier version of a lung when you're smoking weed out of lungs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lungs were full all the time.
So
glad I got out of those.
We hear this bubbling, and we realize that the volcano is still plugged in. It had been plugged into the dash, like via some sort of, you know, adapter. Anyways, there was puke in the fucking volcano. Some puke had gotten in and was bubbling and fucking burning, basically cooking puke.
Oh.
So we stopped, cleaned that out. Anyways, we got into town, dropped everybody off, of course, blah, blah, all that stuff. And I was like, I'm not fucking paying this speeding ticket. Like, I gotta figure out, you know, how to get out of a ticket. And I had gotten out of a ticket previously where I got pulled over for driving on the wrong side of the road. But I was only driving on the wrong side of the road because there was just massive potholes. And it was just real shitty. Like, this, I knew this cop was behind us, but there's just a crater. So I kind of, I saddled the yellow line and then merged back in.
That's one of those things that, like, you know, he probably did the same thing when he was catching up to you.
Watched him in my rear view do the fucking same thing, right?
And that's bothersome to me. That's really quite...
He pulls us over, a bunch of teenagers, and, you know, just gave us a ticket. And I tried to explain, like, dude, I was just, you know, avoiding that pothole that you avoided too. And anyways, so I went to court for it, and then they postponed the date. And then it was, I think, about, like, almost 2 years later, and I was in there, and they were, like, about to postpone the date. I'm like, actually, I'm not here, because I'm going to Europe, like, I have a flight booked. And then the judge just, like, looks at it, he's like, when was this from? And they say, he's like, ugh. And then just watched it. He said some fucking fancy judge word, but it was basically, like, it's abolished, so...
Yeah, be gone.
Yeah, so I was coming from this position of, like, you just go to court and you don't have to pay this ticket. So I Googled how to get out of a speeding ticket, and the first thing I read was ask for a trial by jury. Did I tell you this story?
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm like, alright, cool. Like, I just go in, the Google blurb said, you know, basically they don't want to get a trial because the trial by jury costs too much money, they have to pay the jury members, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, this is just perfect, because... you know, $172 speeding ticket, it costs more for the jury, so yada yada. So I get into court, I wait, my time's up, I go up, and he's like, you plead guilty or not guilty? And I was like, I'd actually like to ask for a trial by jury. The judge goes like he just snorts, like, are you serious, young man? And he's like, are you like, I'm like, yeah, no, I want to. He's like, do you know how much that would cost? And I was like, yeah, that's the point. He's like, oh. he's like, we don't do that in Canada. Like, that's only for federal offenses. So I didn't know what a federal offense was. I just knew that I was wrong, and I was pretty fucking embarrassed at this point.
Yeah.
So then he says to this guy to his left, like, I'm willing to amend on the 5th, something to that effect. And then that guy looks at another guy, like, amend on the 5th. The guy's like, yeah. And looks at another guy, amend on the 5th. And then this guy looks at me, he's like, amend on the 5th. I was like, yeah. And so he, like, slams the gavel. And I did not know what just happened. Like, I could have just fucking pled to being arrested for 10 years. I had no clue. So I tapped the lawyer dick in front of me, like, yo, what just went on? He's like, well, basically you don't have to pay the ticket, but you lose the points. I was like, bingo. And yeah, so
yeah,
you know, you can make a fool of yourself and still succeed somehow. So if anybody wants to try it, let me know how it goes. Be interested to share your embarrassment and your woes.
Yeah. At a party.
Yeah. Yeah, at a party. The other 2 speeding tickets I got, I was in BC, and I never switched over to a New Brunswick driver's license. So I went in to pay the first one, and the girl sees my license, and I was like, oh, I just moved here, blah, blah. She's like, well, you're not really in our system, so I don't know what I can do. Like, I guess I can, like, take your money. So she took my money, but I didn't lose any points because I wasn't in their system to take the points off. And then my second speeding ticket, it was the same thing. I just paid the ticket and just no points were taken off. So,
nice.
Yeah, hot tip to the man that likes to walk slightly outside the law. If you're in a different province
or a traveler.
Yeah, traveler. Keep your well, a traveler would keep their old license. I moved to BC, so if you move to a different province, keep your old license for as long as you can. They'll keep telling you to change it, but they don't know how long you've been there. So
yeah,
there you go. I suppose you have to like expires, but
that's true too. Yeah.
You get a good 5-year window, 4-year window, 2-year window. Depends how much you get renewed for. Yeah. All right, that's Speeding Tickets 101 with your boy. Number 42. Do you live alone? No.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I live with my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Why? Tell me more.
Money.
Yeah. You don't have to do that. It's kind of a, like, yeah, I live alone. Like, what do you, like, okay?
Why?
Yeah. Why? Because I do.
Yeah.
Alright. Do you have any kids?
No.
No. Do you want kids?
If I found the right woman. I also, like, I'm still at a point in my life where I'm figuring out what I want to do, but I think that the day will come where I will be a father. I think that, like I've talked about, you know, being an uncle is like a dry run.
Yeah.
I'm still in charge of at least partially shaping the young minds and souls of my brother's children, so I take that rather seriously. So I think that's giving me some really good experience being an authority figure.
Would you want to have multiple? Just one?
I used to think that I wanted a huge family, but I think now I'm kind of like 2 kids. 2 kids would be... I don't want 1 kid, but I want 2 kids. My goal initially was to have a bunch of kids and to wait like at least 5 years between, so that eventually I would have a workforce that would take care of the younger children and do work around the house. Like I was really going for more of a medieval mindset, like, all right, I need workers on the farm sort of idea. I told that to my walking buddy. She is I want to say in her mid-40s. And she was like, that's not going to fly. That's a terrible idea. Like, you do it, you do them close together so that it doesn't, so that you can basically like not have to, you can do hand-me-downs real quick. And work through the same things, which, you know, probably makes sense. And yeah,
because your age difference with your siblings is a little different than typical.
A little wonky. So, for the viewers' information, I have a brother that's 11 years older than me, a brother that's 10 years older than me, and a brother that's 6 years older than me. So there is rather a discrepancy there, you know.
Yeah, because I'm 3.5 years between me and my sister. Abby's younger, and then Diane, her and her brothers. She's middle child. There's 5 years between each of them.
Okay, that's not too bad.
It kind of hit your medieval.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to. I don't know. Their dynamic's fine. I don't know about the work getting done at the house, but
yeah, they don't come from a farm, so they've not lived the full dream.
Touche. All right, number 44. Do you like your job?
I love podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this job too.
I do. Yeah. Do I like my job? I wouldn't say that cooking is my passion, but I do like my workplace. You know, I like where I am. I like the job that I have, but I wouldn't say that being a cook is going to be how I find fulfillment in my life. You know, for now, it's enjoying going to work, doing a good job, making sure that they get theirs money worth and I get my money's worth.
Yeah. And you've got a good crew as far as kitchens go.
Well, we really do, and we have a solid kitchen and solid front of house, back of house relations. Like, you have a lot of kitchens where you're kind of at war, but we really do have a family kind of mentality when it comes to my kitchen, which makes it just a breeze because the communication. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. Like, it's beautiful. I really do appreciate my workplace, and I doubt that I will ever work in another kitchen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because this will be the last kitchen I work in.
Yeah, I've only worked in one, but it was not as cohesive as your guys' is.
No. Ours is beautiful. There's nothing like it.
Fun fact, that's how Tony and I met.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
That's how welcoming you guys are.
Really?
I'm happy to go there anytime I go there and chit-chat with y'all and hang out, shoot the shit.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, good crew. What's the worst job you ever had?
I'm going to have to go Tim Hortons. When I wanted to get a job, my buddy Tim was like, he just
Tim
like...
Horton?
No, I'm not going to say his last name, but he didn't get a job at Tim Hortons. He actually started at Magic Mountain, like working real young at Magic Mountain. And at first I tried to get a job at Magic Mountain, but I'd never done an interview before. Yeah. They scheduled me for the wrong date because they wanted me to have an interview on the day when everyone else had off. Yeah. I had to leave school, get changed in the back of the van, and then I was like sitting randomly like in a chair in the Magic Mountain, like, you know, the steamboat kind of thing. I was just sitting there and I was nervous, so I was chewing on my fingers, like took a chunk out of it, just friggin' bleeding. So I'm like wiping it on my sock, and this guy comes down, and he's like, "All right, so you're here?" And I was like, "Yeah," or no, he was just like, "Why are you here?" I was like, "I have an interview," and I like had my chapel clothes on, like I was ready to go to church basically, and I had no idea how to sell myself or anything like that. So I go up in the office. He's like, "So what are your skills?" I was like, "I'm really nice." Anyway, so I didn't get the job, but I got the job at the West Main Tim Hortons.
Yes, yeah.
And my pants were like 2 sizes too small, and my shirt was like 5 sizes too big. And it was...
Is that just all they had?
It must have been, because I would walk around and I would see the girls would actually like have jeans on under their Tim Hortons pants. I had to almost give up wearing underwear. Like, I would walk up the road to my job, and certain aspects of my male anatomy would be attacked by the creasing of my pants.
Jesus Christ.
And then, of course, the shirt. Like, the shirt was so... It was like I wore a parachute, and it was it was in the day of, like, the brown Tim Hortons pants with, like, kind of the gray-green shirts, if you remember those. The patterned ones, sort of. This was before debit. Like, I could take credit card or cash. That was a horrible job. I got very little training. There was one lady there who I would say her name because fuck you. She was literally like just this little, I won't say literally like a valley girl, but like she was this tiny woman that was just so fucking angry. Like, and that was actually a very accurate portrayal of how she spoke. and she would stand, in the West Main, they have like one cash register and another.
Yeah.
She would stand in front of that, like the door that goes into the kitchen,
Yeah.
and people would come out of it, and she's like, people keep hitting me in the fucking lights. And it's just like, well, don't stand in front of the door. I don't know what her name was. I want to say it was like Grenda or Gwendolyn or Goblin or something. Like and it was just absolutely a horrible, horrible woman. At the same time, I did meet a few good people there. There was one manager, I think her name was Crystal. She was really sweet and really nice.
Yeah.
Then there was Brenda, the cook or the baker.
Okay.
She was dope. She was like,
Brenda the baker.
she was just really, really cool. And then there was a girl named Courtney that I joked around with. But that was an interesting spot. I remember there was a guy named Sam that worked there, and he was just like, it was, in the days of emo kids.
Yeah.
And he had like the black hair and piercings, and he was like watching the videos, and like he just turned the sound down and kind of like just ace through them somehow effortlessly, whereas I was like, no, I need to learn this. And then like I just never completed my training. They just got me on the floor. And then I had a manager there that whenever she got stressed, she would be like, I'm gonna shoot somebody. Which you can tell the time, like just the different time when you could say that at work. But because they made you clock out for your breaks.
Yeah.
And then I'd forget to clock in because I forgot to clock out or whatever. So I try and get her to fix it, and she'd be like, I don't have the time for this. Like, but Linda, I need to. And there was another really nice girl that worked there. I can't remember her name, but you were very kind to me, and thank you. She was a red-haired lady with glasses. She was she was probably in high school when I was in, she was probably like later high school or just out of high school.
But I guess how old were you? 14?
I was 14, yeah.
14.
And so there was one day where like I was counting my cash, and it said that I kept saying that I was like $100 off, and I was like crying. I was this 14-year-old kid, like super bad at math, like nervous as all hell, right? Because you had to like pay anything over $1. Mm-hmm. And so of course, like, well, I mean, that's a fair policy because there was $100, but I'm sure that it was just my counting was off, because that's usually how that goes. Like to this day, that's one of the reasons why I had to leave my job bartending.
Yeah.
Was because like I just kept losing money because I just couldn't count. Like I'm not a money counter whatsoever. Like I wouldn't. There was one day I was at the pump house, and Shane was closing up. He's like, Tony, can you just double check my cash for me? And I was like, 1, 2, 5, 10, like trying to count the nickels. He's like, holy shit, Tony. I was like, Shane, I'm sorry. You trusted the wrong man.
I'm not the man for this job.
No,
my skills are being nice.
Yeah, being nice. Yeah, if you want me to help you edit your paper or your letter, then yeah, or your email, like sure. Yeah, I can do that. Do not give me a handful of change and be like, Tony, count this quickly, because like I'll just start to sweat. Yeah, like everything's going downhill from there.
Well, I suppose you were just cashier. Were you ever a baker?
No. I think I lasted 4 months there, and then I went to work for Habitat for Humanity in the summer because I was just like manual labor. My dad was like, yeah, come do this. So I got to like lift stuff, move stuff, play around and fix things and clean things, and I got to use a sledgehammer on a regular basis, and for a 14-year-old me, that was dope.
Sign me up too.
This was back when they worked in like the Collishaw Industrial Park there over by the co-op mill.
Yes, yeah.
When they were back in there. And so like one day I was just like messing with a chair, just I think either taking it apart or smashing it, and this guy comes up with a donation, he's asking me questions, and I was a piece of shit and I just didn't want to answer him. Mm-hmm. So I was like, he's like, do you know anything about this? I was like, no, I'm just here to break stuff. And the guy's like, he's just really patient, like, you're just here to break stuff, eh? And it's like, and I was just not helpful, so.
Alright, Johnny.
Sorry to that, sir. I should have been more helpful, but that was a really fun place to work. I loved working in the Collishaw area for Habitat.
Yeah, it's odd that you did that to him because your primary skill is being nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, just.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Intermittent niceness.
Intermittent. Well, I mean, I wasn't being not nice. I just wasn't being helpful. But
my worst job was being a mechanic. I was a mechanic for a week. Mm-hmm. That's how long I lasted. Put the oil filter on wrong twice. Had both cars basically leak oil all over themselves, and I had to wear the wackest gear. I had like with this long lab coat that I thought would look cool, and then I had these swishy pants. They were Kappa. I don't know if you know Kappa. It's got the two chicks. It's silhouettes of like two naked chicks kind of leaning back to back, and they have their legs sort of, I don't know, like bent up.
Oh, do you mean like the Chakra mud flaps?
That's the logo. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's not Kappa mud flaps, but Kappa uses that logo. So exactly that.
Okay.
So that was just all down the side of the jeans, this fucking logo, or these, not jeans, these swishy pants. And I was talking to my friend one day. He said, "Oh man, like this is really good for you. Like, you know, you should do this. This is a career." I'm like, "Dude, you can't even look at me right now." And he like looks over at me. We just both start laughing. I'm like, "Yeah, man, this is not my fit. I need my clothes. I need to look at least like me." So that was my worst job, but I like the people I work with. Shout out Fred and Grant and Rich. Yeah. I don't know if they'll ever see this, but it was a good crew to work with.
Dope.
And they were pretty okay with me quitting. They're like, yeah,
it's good, buddy.
You should, go back to your other job. So, yeah. Anyways, number 45. Did you ever go to college? Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where'd you go to college?
NBCC.
What'd you do?
Carpentry.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think, you've told me that before. Mm-hmm. Neat.
Mm-hmm. It's a good time. I'm not a carpenter right now, but just kind of figured I could learn something. I had like this scholarship fund my parents had set up for me with the government. It's like whatever they paid, the government would match. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they still have such a thing, but it was kind of like if I turned 21 and I didn't use it, they took their half out, the government did. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go to NBCC and take carpentry because maybe I'll learn something.
Well, and that's just a valuable skill to have.
Yes. I was always pretty much a natural builder. The only thing I really learned there was weight distribution.
Okay.
That sounds a bit trite, and there's other things I kind of learned, but I've since forgotten. But that was the one sort of like aha moment of it. Mm-hmm. The rest of it was just like, all right, if I want to make a roof, this is the math. I can go look up this math and put a roof together. So it just wasn't really something I felt like I wanted to do. But yeah, it was a good time. Cafeteria is pretty good at NBCC. Yeah. Well, you went to college.
I did.
Where'd you go?
I took video game art and animation at Holland College in Charlottetown, PEI, which I won't say I regret it. I definitely made some life choices.
Did you finish?
Oh yeah. I finished. Brought a book on the Zodiac Killer to my graduation because I thought I was going to be bored. Ended up not being bored and just getting drunk, but so I did video game art and animation. I learned some cool things. I did a lot of drawing in college, so that was pretty cool. Then I proceeded to not draw for several years, really, so my skills kind of dissipated, but I have a bunch of, sometime when you come over, I'll take out my college sketchbooks. So we had sketchbook reviews. In my first year, I finished one sketchbook.
Okay.
In second year, everyone was still on their first sketchbook. I finished 6 sketchbooks.
Damn.
Filled out 6 sketchbooks.
Impressive.
And the thing is that when I heard about the course, it was called Video Game Art and Design. This is how little, so this is, again, why I think I have a learning disability.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I want to work in video games, and all I want to do is do concept art, and just did no research on what it takes to make a video game. So I figured I'd just go in there and wow everybody with my skills and not have to learn anything else. So then they were like, how about you learn 3D modeling and animation? And I was like, I'm bad at this. So what I would do is I just draw. And because everyone else fucking neglected their sketchbook reviews, they were just like, oh, look at Tyler. He's
model student.
Model student. That's the thing is that we actually had a British instructor, so he was sitting down there and talking to this guy Brad, and he's like, "Now, your sketchbook, if you could be a bit more like Tyler, and do a bit more sketches. And then Brad told me that.
That guy doesn't know fuck all about 3D modeling.
Yeah, and I was just like, I'm sorry, Brad. Like, and that's the thing is, it felt good in a sense because like I'm doing this much drawing that they're using me as an example. Also made me feel like shit because then the other kids that weren't doing drawing were being told like, yeah, this fucking drunk, like, be more like him, like. Like we had our Christmas party. One of the guys in class, Pete, his wife Renee, hi Renee, and Murph Gore. Pete was really took me under his wing. He was a mentor to me when drawing and everything.
Yeah. Is that the guy who does the movies too?
Yeah, he does the movies. Yeah. That's why I said Murph Gore. We'd be at his house and like someone would call and we'd answer the phone. Murph Gore, how may I direct your call? Yeah, we do spaghetti. He'd do spaghetti night every Saturday.
Cool.
Anyway, for fucking Christmas party, his wife came to the Christmas party and brought us 2 flasks of rum, and we were just blatantly drinking them in front of the professor, like in front of the teacher, just like, well, what's this one taste like? Oh, well, let me try this one. Okay, they were both Captain Morgan spiced. we were just being idiots and just drinking.
What year is yours? Got the 1960 reserve.
So college gave me some interesting skills, and then at the end of it, I was like, I kind of knew, like my second year teacher, hey Tiffany, thank you so much for everything, and thank you Chris. But Tiffany really, I was going through a dark time, and Tiffany kind of knew it. Well, everyone knew it, but she was really, took pity on me. There was one day I came to class like fucking like hungover, half drunk, and I was like, I think I gotta go home. I think I'm gonna throw up. And she's like, I'm gonna tell you, in the industry, they'd wait for you to throw up before sending you home. Complete lie. Like, I'm sure I could have gone home anyway, but she was kind of like, no, suffer through this. Like, I'm not gonna let you just miss a day because you're too drunk. But she also didn't like write me up or like I never got in trouble for my shenanigans.
Cool.
But near the end of second year, she was like, so do you think you're gonna go into video games? Yeah. And I said, like, I'm really bad at 3D and animation stuff. I would have to, like, I can't pursue a job right now in this field. Like, I'm just going to embarrass myself and waste their time and waste my time. It's something that I have to look into on my own. Yeah. And, looking back, like we've talked about art, I see people doing wonderful things with digital art. For me, it just feels so hollow when I try it. Like, and I've done digital art, and I've liked the work that I've done. But I just, maybe I need to get like a Cintiq or a tablet I can draw on and see. Yeah. But just, it's a weird translation for me, digital art is not my forte. I like to smell the ink and get stained, and like my wife beaters come away looking just atrocious, and it's kind of like, like,
yeah. The only fun I've had with is making collages, or if you can call like editing clips in the montage, that's sort of video art. But I've also, one of my buddies scanned one of my drawings and we were able to toy with it on Photoshop. And that was fun. So I kind of got both worlds in that. I got to do the actual physical stuff and then toy with it. I was able to change everything, or we were, more so he was, and then I just sat there and barked orders. More purple!
More purple! I would like more stars!
It was fun.
Yeah, cool.
Number 46. Have you ever been on TV?
No, but I am on YouTube. Well, no, but I mean, even before this. Yeah. Okay, so like, quick caveat. But yeah, no, I did an interview for the Native Show when I was teaching English to Russians. Okay. They did an interview. It's up there somewhere. I'm not going to tell you how to find it because it's embarrassing. Yeah. I was really nervous, and there was obviously a language barrier, and then you had like a bunch of Russian trolls because my interviewer was a woman, just saying terrible stuff. Like, one was like taking an English word and then translating it into, like, he was using it in a sentence to talk about how he touched himself, and she was kind of like reading it online. And I was like, no, don't read that.
Read that. Stop. Abort.
Don't do it. But yeah, that was my first time on YouTube. But no, I don't think I've ever been on TV.
No. No. Yeah, I haven't been on TV. I've been in the news. Yeah.
That is a TV?
Allegedly, I was in the news.
Oh.
Yeah, for a terrorist attack.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Wasn't me. Number 47. Do you believe in ghosts? Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still trying to wrestle with, the whole, like, how I believe in the afterlife as well as ghosts kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely there are spirits, and, there's bad energy that sticks with stuff.
Yeah.
Like...
I've never seen ghosts. Have you seen ghosts?
Seen a UFO, haven't seen a ghost. But I've heard stories of seeing a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
In Charlottetown, there are quite a few stories of seeing ghosts that I've heard of, and it's kind of like I see. And it's one of those things that the way that people have described it, it's like that is on the mark for what I would imagine, because it wasn't the like theatrical kind of foolishness.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, if that was a ghost, then that's how, realistically, if you were, in a real life setting, kind of like with magic, like even with like how it's subtle.
Yeah.
Like tarot.
Yeah.
How it's like, oh, I flipped a card. And then it's not like magically, like a swish of power or whatever. It's just like, oh,
yeah.
So that happened, and that lines up. Thank you.
Nice. I just remembered I did actually see a ghost. So I was visiting my grandfather's tombstone, and I had just pulled in one day. It's here, like on Elmwood or whatever. Pulled in, went there, just kind of had chit-chat with him, and I looked over and there was this man sitting on a bench, and then I looked over again and there was no man. And it was just, like, it wasn't spooky or haunting, it was just a guy, he was an older gentleman, he had just kind of his legs crossed, a little hat on, like reading the newspaper or something, and that was it, because I full on saw him, and I just, for whatever reason, looked back to see where he'd gone. It was a matter of like 30 seconds, and he's just nowhere to be anywhere. So it's an open space. I could have seen him, walk off or whatever. But
yeah, you would have seen it. Unless he like hoofed it behind a shrub.
Yeah,
yeah.
Unlikely for a man of his age. So
yeah,
it wasn't really anything spooky. Like,
just paraglides out of the scene.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Number 48, this is poignant.
Yeah.
Do you like cilantro? Not to fucking day.
I don't even know if... Like, I'm sure I've had it, but I have no opinion either way. I'm going to say yes, because obviously I've had it, and I know that I don't hate cilantro.
They say it's one of these ones that's polarizing. People who don't like it say it tastes like soap. People who do like it say, like, yeah, it kind of has a soapy taste.
I think I've heard of that. And I still don't, and I'm sure I've tried it, I still don't know, it obviously didn't have a lasting effect on me, so I'm not quite sure.
I tried to buy cilantro twice today. I went to the store, we were having fish tacos night, my lovely wife was making us some different coleslaw varieties. Anyways, she wanted some cilantro for this lime one, and so I went, got the cilantro, came back, dropped off the groceries. She informs me that is not cilantro, honey, that is parsley. I'm like, fuck, well, there's a bunch of people in front of the blah, blah, blah. Like, I was full on, be like, yeah, okay, I'll take the blame, but this is how this transpired, not like, oh, there's people, it's not my fault. Anyways, this one's absolutely my fucking fault, because I go back to the superstore, I'm with Tony at this point, I go through the process of returning fucking parsley, like, I had some other shit to return, but, returning parsley is kind of a weird one, I think. Anyways, God bless her, figures it all out, rings me in, get my money back. I go up to the cilantro section, see cilantro on the ticket thing, and my wife's like, yeah, it's like flat. And I was remembering as she said it, like, yeah, that's what it looks like. So I see this flat, leafy green. I'm like, perfect cilantro.
Done.
Get back to the house, it's fucking flat parsley. It's not cilantro. I just bought another type of fucking parsley. So
well, you know who we saw 3 times?
Janelle,
buddy! Yeah, but we, so in the process of Caleb returning his parsley, like a mook, in order to buy more parsley, we see Janelle. I didn't know we were doing more shopping. So I make it a point to be like, Caleb, fucking wave to Janelle. Like, you know, like make sure that we say hi to her.
Mm-hmm.
Probably our biggest fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chanel's a friend of ours that we've met at Superstore. He's a
and
cashier.
he's friggin' dope.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
He just was inquisitive about what we're doing, and we started chit-chatting with him, had a wonderful conversation the first time, and
every time. It's always good to see him.
Since.
So I make sure that as we're walking away, I'm like, yeah, have a good night, man. I'm like, Caleb, fuck, wave to Janelle. Like, come on, do it.
Yeah.
And then Caleb just does that, and then we go into the produce section. I was like, fuck. Now I'm going to look like a sped. And then, like, you know, I gather a cucumber by the help of two fine young women that direct me away from the single wrinkly opened cucumber. And
your
like,
good friend telling you to check for the seeds, the loose seeds.
Yeah, no, Caleb, apparently, if you rattle the cucumber, if you can hear the seeds knocking around, that means the cucumber is ripe and you can eat it. And Caleb's also full of shit. So we gather our things and we go and we buy our stuff at the counter with Janelle, because when we see our boy, we got to go see our boy. Mm-hmm. And we, you know,
no self-serves for us.
No, not when he's around. So, and then when we do have the self-serve, I offer young men coconut puffs, and they absolutely look at me with disgust. But anyway, so we say goodbye, make a big point, fist bumps all around, wishing each other well. We leave. Then Caleb gets a call from his wife. We need limes. So then we had to go back a third time to say goodbye to Janelle again. Because we're buying limes. Like, all right, this time for sure. Yeah. Like, so he he got like 3 times the dose of seeing us that day.
Straight up.
Today is that day. Yeah,
makes our day when we see him.
Absolutely. We're always on the lookout. Like, are we doing self-serve or is our boy there? And then when there's our boy, there's our boy. Yeah. We go talk to that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Janelle.
This one's for you.
Yeah.
Do you like cilantro? Tell us the next time, man. We'll find out.
Tell me what it looks like, too.
Yeah. Point it out to us.
Number 49. Do you ever talk to yourself in your head?
More than I talk to anyone else during a day.
Fucking constantly.
All the time.
You know, I heard, my friend was telling me this, and he was like, I heard this, and this sounds fucking insane, but this is what I heard. It's a study. And it said that only 25% of people have inner dialogue, was what they were calling it. Like,
that can't just be 25%.
It seems, I assume everybody speaks. Like, maybe not the ill, but like the deranged. No, some of the deranged talk more to themselves in their head than anybody. But
no, but I would say that 25% of the population might not speak, but there's no way that only 25% of the population speak.
It seems crazy.
I don't.
And like, how do they even like monitor that? I will say though, I was talking.
Surveys.
Yeah, I know that, but like,
okay.
You know, you just ask somebody, do you talk in your head? Like, yeah, of course. Like, how do you think if you don't talk in your head?
Yeah, you must operate off a wonderful lizard brain.
Yeah, impressive.
Well, I don't know. What does it like?
No, I do have an anecdote for this. I was asking somebody who was some other first language than me, and I always have this like sort of theory of I wonder what the best language is to think in, because sometimes I'll just think in French to see if I feel different or anything. Anyways, as far as I've seen, nothing really crazy, but I do realize that I remember French better than I ever think I remember French.
There we go.
Anyways, but I was wondering, like, you know, is German a better language to speak in because they are thinking, because they, you know, are such masters of engineering, or is Chinese or whatever the proper dialect, is that a better language to think in because they're so as skilled at what they're skilled at?
Obviously, there's a language I want to be able to think in, but...
Russian?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to be able to think in Russian. But.
So I asked this guy, you know, do you think in French when you think, or do you think in English? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like when you think, like, is it in French or English? And he had to stop and think, ironically. And then he was like, I guess French. I was like, why is there a pause, a delay? And then, like, also, what are you doing when you just stopped and tried to, like, think if you spoke in French or not? Maybe I just stumped him, I don't know, but...
I imagine his head is like a cavern, it's like the wind's blowing, but it's like, Sacre bleu.
French. Yeah, French.
Like that's what I imagine when you say that. But like for me, and don't get me wrong, I find that my thoughts can be quite helpful nowadays because again I'm challenging dark thoughts and whatever. Like we talked about that already, but keeps me company. Like honestly, like I'll be driving home, and I'll be like, oh. And then it'd be like, what's going on, Tony? And it's just like, I was having a conversation with all of you, but you weren't in on it. And like everyone else has been replying. Like in my head, I've just been like talking to everybody in the car the whole time. And like it's been dead quiet. It's like crickets. It's dark on the road. And then like I'll like just realize that I've been insane for the last 5 minutes. But
it'd be like one of the greatest mysteries of life to uncover, because I would love to understand what somebody does if they don't talk in their head. That just, like... I have some people that I suspect probably don't talk in their head, but that's me being judgmental. That's not...
No, same for me.
Not fact yet. Huh. Well.
Yeah.
Let us know, viewers.
Do you think in your head, think?
Do you think?
Do you think? Well, basically, that's kind of like what I think it is. Like, I suppose, you know...
like, if you're reading a book, like, you're talking in your head. You're fucking...
I don't know, man.
This is a fucking conundrum to me.
Like, would you just think in pictures? I don't know.
Well, yeah, you couldn't read if you don't think or talk in your head.
Yeah.
You're just looking at the page and then just flip it when you think about the correct amount of time has passed.
Just like... I am absorbing this.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Like, did you read that? Yeah, I saw that. What?
That's part of the reason why I have trouble reading, is because, like, I'll be reading a book, and then, like, my mind will hit one thing that'll associate with another thing, and then it'll be like, I'll be, like, off on this rant in my brain. I'm like, shut up, brain! Like, I gotta read Professor Lindenbrock, and as he and Axel and Hans explore the center of the earth.
Dude, I don't think I've had a book... like since I've been 20 where there's not just notes down the side of various pages, because it's like I'm right there, the thought hits, and it's just like log it. You know, it's weird. Number 50.
Yep.
Do you sing in the shower?
Oh yeah.
Sure fucking do.
Yeah.
I write a lot of the last 4 songs that I've written, like lyrically. I guess I clarify because I do write the bass lines in the shower too, but yeah, I wrote those in my head in the shower and just sung them in the shower. So there's a lot of good thoughts that come in the shower.
Acoustics.
The acoustics, they're typically good too. It's a good time to sing.
Yeah.
I read, I was telling you about, so the viewers, you can't see this, but I've got this Hindu goddess as my kind of curtain, Saraswati, and I was reading up what to offer to her, and so white flowers was one thing that I learned, but the other thing that they said is take a bath. Having baths honor her, so.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
All these years I've been honoring her hard.
Little did I know. Yeah. It'd be funny to see the correlation between musicians and bath takers. Since she is this Hindu goddess governs music of one thing, music, wisdom, and knowledge, wisdom and beauty. Music, wisdom, and beauty.
I can say she's definitely a goddess of beauty.
Because I think the pearls are meant to represent beauty, and the scroll, that's actually a scroll in her hand.
Okay.
That's supposed to represent knowledge or wisdom.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then obviously the instrument is music.
Ah.
Yeah. So, anyways, it'd be interesting.
I was going to say its face because she sings to me.
She doesn't look like she'd be a singer. The guitar also helps to evoke that as well. Number 51, have you ever had deja vu?
Yep.
I have a really good example of this, because at one time I woke up in the morning and I'm not going to argue that this is a dream or not, because I was awake, and then I just saw this image of this kid at my school sitting on a stool playing bass, and I was like, this is not an unlikely thing, but this is not a memory. Like, I know that I haven't seen this. So I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I tucked it under. I had 2 pillows in my bed, one kind of like stuffed in the headboard had a cubby hole. So I stuffed the paper under that pillow, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited. And like 4 or 5 months later, I was walking through the hall, and I saw the exact image that I had saw in my head. And I went back and like pulled out the paper, like I fucking knew. I knew I was gonna see this.
Yeah.
So that was a cool deja vu. Mm-hmm. You?
The one instance that rings out to me is I was in my kitchen and my brother pushed me against a wall. Mm-hmm. Not like super, like it was obviously aggressively, but we weren't having a fight or anything. Mm-hmm. And he was just being enthusiastic.
Yeah.
So he pushed me against the wall. I was like, whoa, well, hold up. We've done this before. And he's like, no, we haven't. I was like, I'm sure we have. He's like, it's just deja vu. And I was like, oh. So yeah, there's my story.
Psychic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking yeah. Number 52. Do you believe in aliens? I am a fucking alien. Yeah. Yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I believe in aliens. I believe in the possibility of aliens.
Mm-hmm. Our forefathers, I like to think of them as.
Their food sucks, but,
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
There's a movie called Defending Your Life, and it's conceptual. It's what they kind of fathom the afterlife would be, and so this guy's in this sort of waiting lobby, not just a lobby, but this waiting sort of, I don't know, what the fuck? That
waiting room?
No. There's a word for, like, it's pavilion, but it's not pavilion. It's like when you have a big estate, but it's...
A foyer?
No. Like, there's...
A lounge.
There's building compound. That's what I'm looking for.
A compound?
So, because there's, like, buildings and places to go, but it's contained, right? Like, it's not part of a city. It's, like, this sort of isolated thing wherever, and it's, it's meant to be in a realm, so to speak, so it's not quite like what we would picture a world. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so he's there and he's waiting to go to the, like, trial of his life, and the trial is just a review of, you did this, what did you learn from that, this is why you did this, kind of this teaching thing of, giving some insights. So anyways, he's there, and there's a bunch of different species there, because it is the afterlife. So he's human, of course, and then there's other beings, and then there's these, like, people who actually live there and kind of conduct the whole experience. Yeah. And so he's sitting next to this alien in a cafeteria. We, call him alien, but he's just the person of there, like,
yeah,
we're aliens.
Species, yeah.
Yeah. And so he looks, rather humanoid-ish. He's got some features, but he's sitting there, he's eating this, what looks like just like metal. Mm-hmm. And the Earthling's like, how do you eat that stuff? He's like, well, the alien palate, this tastes delicious to us and nourishes us, but it wouldn't do anything for you. And he's like, oh, can I try it? And he eats it, and he's disgusted by it. And so that's, I'm getting deja vu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. When you talk about aliens eating, I think of Titan AE, the cafeteria scene. I've talked about that before. It's the one where the thing about humans is we travel in packs. When I mentioned that. That was after this, the cafeteria scene's after that. Anyway, and so Kale, the main character, is talking to, I can't remember his name, but he's a pretty great character. He's this blind alien. And like, he's got this, it almost looks like wakame salad with like these little dumplings that are like hopping around. Like, and he's just like, I want food that is dead before I eat it. And he's just like, are you going to eat that? And it's like, knock yourself out. Anyway, you hear a crackling sound. Oh,
there we are. We will be back. Well, we are back. We dipped out, gave my sister a ride to the airport.
Have fun in Mexico, Abby and Huss.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
We will see you when you're back. So, we just have 2 questions left.
Yeah, it's kind of what was getting to me, like, when we were leaving. I was like, well, shit. But at the same time, aliens. Do we fully talk about aliens?
I mean, I said that I'm an alien, and I believe aliens are not...
I think we were in the midst of shitting on your food.
Yes, well, I mean, you speak about aliens, you speak about my food. It goes hand in hand. I have many food oddities.
Some of them better than others.
Yeah. Some of them are actually appealing. Others are just pure fucked. I convinced a few people, at least I think I did for a while, that hot water, chia seeds, and hot sauce was an elixir of life. You drink it, the hot sauce opens opens up the pores in your stomach, and the chia seeds go down there and scrub them. So that's how it works.
Yeah. There's so many pores in your stomach.
There is, yeah. You need billions of probiotics
at least
to
billions.
get down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it makes sense.
It does.
You should have just told me they go for the stomach pores. Would have understood it.
Would have made much more sense.
Yeah. You can't just have one. I mean, you still could. A god biotic would get done pretty efficiently.
As he does.
Yeah. But those amateur biotics passing themselves off as pros. Not so efficient, those workers are. Wouldn't want them on my team. Get off my job site.
Yeah, get out of here.
So, chia seeds, hot sauce, and hot water.
Told to you by Resident Alien, so if you don't believe, now you can.
We're here on Earth, and we are elsewhere as well. So,
as the name describes.
Yeah.
Or at least implies. I knew it was one of those I words.
Implies. What does the name imply? Which name?
Aliens?
Aliens.
That
Aliens.
they're not from here?
Yeah. I suppose because we would be aliens to people on another planet.
Yeah, and I tried to say that to my buddy one time in church, and he was saying like, well, the aliens, and I was like, well, but, you know, they're only an alien because they're not from here. If we went somewhere else, we would be the aliens. He's like, no, we would be humanoids.
Yeah, would we? Would we, buddy? You now suddenly became the authority on this?
I love this guy, but sometimes, and like he'll admit it too, like he'll argue with you and make a point, and then he'll just be like, I just pulled that out of my ass. I was like, oh, I know, because you're wrong. Like, mind you, it's hard for me to be like, you know, I'm a cook, and I'm trying to argue with a chemist. Like, you know, like he's a smart guy. I love you, Luke. But sometimes he definitely just pulls stuff out of his ass.
I can feel that. Yeah, I've been known. Don't know once or twice myself. Daily. Number 53. Tony, do you like chocolate?
I do, as a treat. Chocolate isn't like my go-to though. It is a bit more now that I'm not, you know, drinking. Because it is like a little, like I said, a treat. Yeah. So as I've mentioned before, I have that little chocolate at work, and if I'm really feeling a bit naughty that day, I might have a brownie or a piece of cake. But no, I like chocolate, but in very, very infrequent amounts. And typically just like little bits of chocolate. Like a full chocolate bar, like I'll eat it because I have trouble controlling myself, but a whole chocolate bar is a lot of chocolate to me.
My friend told me this story once about Gwyneth Paltrow, that she just has one American Spirit a day. She was on some like interview show talking about this, and he's like, man, she's probably so fucking smug when she smokes that. I thought that was pretty funny.
American what?
American Spirit's type of cigarette in the States.
Oh, she has one cigarette a day?
One, but I've only had one type, and it was shitty. It was packed way too much. It has no, like, preservatives, so that's its whole shtick. Like, it's just raw tobacco.
Oh,
yeah,
I'd try that.
Yeah, I would be interested to try the other flavors. I just had turquoise, whatever the fuck that is. I don't know if it was bold or light. It's hard to smoke and didn't taste that great, so that's my verdict thus far.
I see. What about you? Do you like chocolate?
Yeah. No, I mean, I used to not eat it at all, and then I, similar to the milkshake, I'm under some internal struggles with my chocolate intake as of late.
I have everything figured out in my life, except if I should eat chocolate and drink milkshakes.
The answer is no, but yeah, here I am. My favorite would probably be Reese Cups. I always like the Kit Kat Chunkies. They have
I do not like Kit Kats.
No?
No.
They have one right now with popcorn in it. I've had that one.
Really?
That's pretty
That sounds
good.
kind of interesting.
I don't even really like popcorn, but I fuck with that.
I think my favorite would be, I really like Mars bars, and I like white Hershey, like the cookie cream or the...
Yeah, cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream Hershey's. That being said, try not to buy Hershey's, because now I know that they use slave labor to get their chocolate, so that kind of takes the damper on things, put the damper on things. But,
Yeah.
there's only so much you can do.
There it is. Oh, actually, Terry's Chocolate Orange. That's my fucking hands down favorite chocolate.
My mom always got us Terry's Chocolate Oranges for our stockings on Christmas, and I never really liked them, but it was chocolate.
Yeah.
So...
But dude, I love it. I eat the whole thing as if it's an orange.
Wow.
I feel sick afterwards, but...
I would store it in my freezer. That was always my thing. Like, I never, as a kid, I would stash my chocolate.
Yeah.
I'd let it age for, years. I'm serious.
Think it's fucking wine? Did it taste better afterwards?
I always thought so. Like, when it starts to discolor, that's when you know it gets good. And then, I had stashes of Halloween candy that were surviving for years in my closet. And my stupid epileptic dog Clancy figured out how to open those, those accordion doors. He figured out how to open that, got in and ate a bunch of my candy. And I was like, that is years and years and years of accumulating, you stupid dog. Like, basically, well, it's 3 years of chocolate in my closet. And I just started putting it in the freezer downstairs, and I nip and tuck it. Terry's Chocolate Orange every once in a while, because I wasn't a fan of orange. I like oranges, but I'm still not a fan of orange flavor.
Oh no, it's absolutely fake orange flavor, but that's just that's my jam. Yeah. That one I had no qualms about. Like, I would not eat chocolate, and then on Christmas I would get Terry's Chocolate Orange. I'd fucking demolish it, and then be like, "That's good." Yeah, it wasn't good. Why I stopped eating chocolate in the first place is I ate 14 Cadbury cream eggs back to back in the course of 40 minutes, and I was so fucking dizzy and had a headache, and I just gave up chocolate after that. It was
a wise decision.
Yeah, I think I probably, that would have been 21, and I went till about, I guess, 34, 29. I think 29 I had some chocolate for the first time.
Wow.
Hated myself ever since.
Well,
I'll get there. I'll get back to peace. Number 54. Do you own Bitcoin?
I don't. I know a couple guys that do.
Would you?
That would be a lot of, if you're talking in investing and, watching the market, then I'd say no. Well, I guess, if you're talking, buy it to have it in case there is, a governmental collapse, then I would be more interested, because for a while there I was thinking that I would diversify and start buying gold and silver and whatnot, which I'm still considering, but it's a lot of money to get, pound for pound for...
That's my sister.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does that mean they arrived in Mexico?
That'd be impressive.
Thanks said
again
that...
for driving us.
Oh, well, it was lovely talking to your sister and her boyfriend.
It is, Tequila's a song that we used to listen to as kids. My parents had this 1960s greatest hits. That was one of the songs that was on it, and we'd just play that over and over and over.
And kind of, fitting for her trip.
Yeah.
Truly.
Mexico,
where the government is a lie.
But the tequila is real.
Yeah. And cartels, so be careful.
Yeah, win some, move some.
No.
Know where you're drinking.
Yeah, but no, I don't own Bitcoin. I know Anton was into it for a bit, and we'd be gaming and drinking. And God loved this man, but he also he kept the mic on in this Bitcoin talk chat. So there's a bunch of Russian going on. We're drinking and eating.
Yeah.
And I'm I'm drunk, and we're Anton, stop! And he's just and then the Russians are screaming at Anton, tell this kid to shut up. He's you have to be quiet, you're interrupting the chat. And it's just man, we're hanging out, turn the fucking, mute us or something.
Yeah.
And one lady was asking if I wanted to teach her English, or I think even marry, I don't know, but it was ma'am, I don't even know your name. But yeah, no, I know.
I mean, you are a full course meal deal for the ladies. So
I truly am.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
That's how it goes. They hear one drunken Canadian accented Russian word, and they're just
there's my supper.
Teach me English and put a ring on it.
I do not own Bitcoin.
No.
I did, obviously consider the idea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of having a one world currency. That will be in some time, but I would hope that would go one world currency as well as open borders, and then we can just move, work wherever we want, and everything's just, that headache is out of the way.
Yeah.
That'd be my dream. So if it gets there and Bitcoin's the one, so be it. But I don't know that Bitcoin's going to be the one.
Well, I think if nothing else, Bitcoin is laying the foundation, right?
Yeah.
What gets me is like people investing in other cryptocurrencies that aren't Bitcoin.
Doge.
Yeah, like Dogecoin and Ethereum and shit, and it's just like, I get that money people like to diversify, but it's also like to me, and this is, people are going to listen to this and actually know what cryptocurrency is about and think that I sound like an idiot. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, to me, it's like, aren't you taking a huge chance? Like, it's already a ton of money for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like $10,000 for one Bitcoin.
Yep.
Like, that's what?
Well, and if one system is not really fucking, flourishing, why is the next going to and the next?
Well, and then you have those idiots like the Pauls. I don't know if it was Logan or Jake Paul that like fucking made a bunch of cryptocurrencies, but it was pump and dump schemes. So they got like a bunch of people to invest in the schemes, and then they basically pulled out their investment to plummeted the stock price or something. Just really skeevy bullshit, but also you invested in a cryptocurrency called Dink Doink. Like,
yeah, I think you had it coming.
If you're a Logan or Jake Paul subscriber anyway, you probably deserve quite a bit of what you get, but...
Yeah. No, that's odd. I mean, I do agree. It probably is laying the foundation for the one world currency, but I do like the idea of decentralized. That whole concept speaks to me, for sure.
Yeah.
As I imagine many, it's all transparent, and we don't have... I'm sure there's loopholes, but there's a couple loopholes that have been closed off, some real obvious ones. Mm-hmm. So with that notion in mind, keep progressing towards something that has the least loopholes possible, and thus it would make a better solution. So
and with that, I guess that's it.
That's all.
It. I'll find a Russian word of the day. Will you get your
give us a little
harmonica?
Intro.
Today's Russian word of the day is brought to us by Russian Classes at Instagram.com. It is "Я считаю". "Я считаю". "Я считаю". It means I believe. "Я считаю".
Я считаю.
"Я считаю". So,
Я
viewers, you
считаю.
can't see this, and I'm not going to hold my phone up, but you see that's "ya", like I.
That R, backwards R?
Backwards R is "ya", which means I.
Yeah.
And then that C is actually an S, and that weird H thing is the ch sound. So like считаю. Считаю. Like Russian's pretty cool. Like, well, cool and kind of frustrating like that, because they have consonants that just don't go together. Mm-hmm. Like, you'll hear names that it's you hear Russians say it so easily, but there's a name Ksenia. Mm-hmm. So it's like I had to stop my friend from saying Ksenia, like it's Ksenia.
Okay.
Like, you really have to, like,
blurs into it.
Yeah, it leads into it. Like,
Ksenia.
So "Я считаю", I believe, and I believe in all of you. So thank you for stopping by for our 14th episode, and we'll see you at the end of the week with our 15th. So thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Love you all.
Увидимся.